Hello everybody and welcome to the Elevated Life series. It is Friday. We are so excited. The sun is out, spring is happening, and change is upon us. So we are super pumped. Let the light in, let your energy rise because this is a beautiful weekend. Okay, so we are here, Chris and Brittany Carmichael, to bring you the Elevated Life series where we talk about, what do we talk about? Radical shifts to create miracles in your life. I don't even know what we talk about. I'm just so excited today. With that being said, I want to know, what do you want to hear from us? What are you curious about? Because we love bringing you all kinds of topics, ranging from plant-based eating to mindset makeovers to meditation to damn good sex life to whatever you want to talk about. So along your spiritual journey, where are you at? What questions come up? What are you curious about? We'd love to answer it for you. So leave your questions in the comments below. We'll be happy to answer them. Today's topic is a big one. I get this all the time. I've been in the beauty industry for over a decade, so I've worked exclusively behind the chair, one-on-one with women, and I ask every single time, what do you need more of? What does this hair represent for you? What is that thing that you want? And I would say 75–80% of women say confidence. And it always makes me giggle because that's up to you. You can't buy it at Target. You can't get it from anyone else. It's up to you. You decide. So today's topic is how to build your self-esteem and to up-level your confidence. I have been chatting so much. I'd love to hear a little bit about what you would like to share with this topic.
Self-esteem is really how you emotionalize, in other words, how you feel about yourself. And when we're talking about self-image, that's the pictures that you make about yourself. And these are really important because how we look at ourselves and how we feel about ourselves inevitably creates what we do and how we think about life in general, because we're always walking around with us. And so if your self-esteem or self-image is negative, then you sort of have this negative Nancy, everything's like that rain cloud follows you around everywhere.
Well, you notice the negative.
Yeah.
What you focus on expands. So if your self-image is a negative image, then that will continue to expand and you will become aware of those situations in your life and aware of the emotions that you're creating about yourself.
And when we're talking about negative self-image, what we're really saying is that if you get into any kind of situation and you think, I don't deserve this, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I won't be able to, I lack, whatever it might be, then that starts to be a negative self-image. It starts to be like, you're not capable. And none of that's really true. And the beautiful part about images and things like that, like Britt said, you're creating this. And so the really great thing is that you can easily change this as well. And I mean easily. It's very possible.
Yeah, I'm curious. When you think of yourself, what mental image comes to mind? Is it one of excitement and beauty and love and positive uplifting qualities? Or do you imagine the things that you personally don't like about yourself? For me, my self-image used to be, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat. It's funny because, I love looking at my Facebook memories, and today one came up that said 148, which at period, like that was the weight. I was so proud of it. And I thought even then I was fat. I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat, I'm fat. So I stood in the mirror at 200 pounds and said, I'm fat. And then when I lost 75 pounds, I stood in the mirror and said, I'm fat. Yes, my physical body changed, but my mental image didn't change. And because of that, because I kept repeating that negative mental image, I ended up putting it back on until I changed the mental image, until I changed the story I was telling myself. So I switched from telling myself I'm fat to I am beautiful. And everything began to shift. And it began to stick as a lifestyle, not just as for a split second or a diet or I got to do this to be happy for the moment. It's sustained.
Morning.
Good morning, Elizabeth. Okay, Anne asked a great question. She says, how can you support your spouse when they are struggling with self-esteem?
Build them up.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. If they can't give the love to themselves, you have to compromise and be there for them and give them that love.
It doesn't mean telling them, oh, you're crazy, like you're great at these things. Remember that when someone has a really strong belief, the belief is going to be stronger than anything else. And your mind is a constant feedback loop. So if you think, I'm not capable, your mind's going to give you opportunities and situations. You can call it the universe, you can call it manifesting or whatever you want, law of attraction. But what's happening is that you say, okay, well, I'm not good enough. This is a strong belief. And your mind has a mechanism inside it to reinforce beliefs until you replace it with a new one. And so when you're talking about these beliefs, if you feel not capable of something, then your mind's going to give you the opportunity to be not capable at stuff. And so it reinforces the belief. So the mind's whole idea is to constantly reinforce these beliefs that you already have. So you have to really change the belief, and you change it by making new mental pictures of yourself. And that's as simple as it gets. Like, you just make a new mental picture. And the easiest way to do that is just to imagine your perfect self. And I don't mean the one that doesn't make mistakes, because that'll never happen. That's always part of it.
It's a mistake, not a mistake.
And remember, life is a learning process. We're constantly learning, and the biggest part about learning is making mistakes so that you can correct and move on. They say that airplanes, when they go from point A to point B, even just across the United States, let's say, they're off course almost 97% of the time. It's not perfectly a straight line. It kind of branches out. If you ever watch the little Wi-Fi, the little screen or whatever, when you're flying around and you watch the GPS, you can see like you take this kind of a weird path. It's not exactly straight. And so you're just self-correcting a little bit, self-correct. It doesn't mean you screwed up the whole thing. The plane still lands. And so you don't have to be right on course the whole time. So mistakes are going to be part of the constant process. So don't avoid them. Don't be like, oh my God, it was me. Just self-correct a little bit. Really easy to get right back on track. But if you start in that negative thought process, again, your mind gives you the feedback. You say, oh, I can't do this, and your mind shows you that you can't do it. If you say, I think it's possible for me, and even if I mess up, I'll get back up, I'll do it again, your mind shows you that that's possible too. So it's just this consistent feedback loop, and as you change your images inside your mind, which no one else can see. So this is your whole game plan by yourself. So Britt can't see what mental images I make, or maybe she can.
Well,
it's Britt. So
don't use me as an example on that one.
The average person, right, can't typically see the mental images that you're making. And so when you start to make better images of yourself, and like I said, just picture your perfect self. And the way to really do this, I'm going to give you a quick exercise you can do, and I'm going to run through the steps quickly, but when you do it on your own, take your time. This is just for brevity because we're on live. So all you have to do is imagine your perfect self and detach from the perspective. So see it in third person as though your perfect self is walking and moving through your life. In other words, like if you're going to walk into a building and typically you'd be like, well, no one's going to like me in here and this is going to be a bum deal and those kind of things. Think about, well, if I were my perfect version of myself, how would that person walk in? How would they feel about themselves? How would they stand? How would they breathe? What internal messages would they give themselves? Would they go, this is going to be kick-ass because I'm showing up? And that's a different mindset. It's the same thing because you're just affecting reality in a different way. And so as you move into the place, it's very easy to imagine your perfect self doing that and then go into the perfect self. In other words, take it from third person perspective into first person perspective.
Yeah, like blend the old version of you, the old story you were telling, and see that perfect version of yourself, because it is you naturally. The only thing keeping you from back here to the perfect version is the mental stories you're telling yourself. So when you see that old image transform into the new one, you can then begin to walk into that perfect version of yourself and release the limiting stories that you've been telling yourself in the mind. Elizabeth says, so self-correct the negative thoughts of not thin enough, how to get that to stop. Okay, great question. It is constant repetition, just as Chris mentioned. Every single day, I caught that mental chatter saying, I'm fat, blah, blah, blah. Like every time I would get dressed in the morning, that voice would kick in again. And I recognized that the voice had a different tone. It didn't sound like me. It was like I don't know, like, can you hear the negative voices in your mind? And can you notice that it's not you speaking? Can you notice that you can change the way that tone sounds? And it was when I noticed that I'm fat kept kicking in, I would be like, no, cancel. I'm beautiful, I'm amazing, I'm a motherfucking princess, like whatever it is. I would just reframe my thought right then. I would catch myself and I would hear it again the next day. No, I'm beautiful. I'm awesome. I'm friendly. I'm funny. I'm kind. I'm creative. I would create new stories that aligned with what is true for me. And I am funny and I am creative and I am kind. So why am I telling myself the one story of I'm fat? Like, get over myself. So it takes constant repetition every day. Catch that negative voice. And when you become aware of it, it loses its power because it's been caught. It's like, oh shit, she found me. So notice it and then stop it, say no, cancel, and then reframe it to something more positive and more beautiful and uplifting, and feel that energy and that vibration of the feel goods is what brings more of that to you and attracts even your external reality to match the same. So constant repetition, constant dedication, and one day it will turn into a habit sooner than you think if you're committed to the change.
This is going to be the most important thing, and definitely in this video, and that is that thoughts don't have power. You have power. And when you identify with thoughts, then the thought has power. And so what happens is it doesn't matter what you think unless you identify with it. And so when you say, I am something, you're reinforcing that belief. And so you have these neural pathways in your brain. And so as you begin to talk about repetition and doing things repeatedly, like she's saying, where you think something different than you thought at one point, you have to reinforce that. And what will end up happening is the old stuff will stop firing as much in your brain, and this new one will take over. So you have to replace beliefs. It's not enough just to think about something new. It has to be totally replaced. And when you have this new belief, it becomes very easy to do a lot of things, and you can take this further out in other spots in your life, and it'll start to build up your confidence very easily. And so all you have to do is make bigger and brighter pictures. A lot of times if you see people with phobias and things like that, it's not that they're really afraid of the thing, they're afraid of these really big ass images they make in their mind. So make awesome images of yourself. And once you start doing that more often and you change the color and you change the saturation of the image, in other words, if you have an image of yourself and it's negative, drain the color out of that image and make it smaller.
Wait. I want you guys to actually imagine the negative image that you do have about yourself and go through this exercise he's about to tell you. I'm over here poking him like, we need to do this exercise. Yeah. This is really powerful. So I want you guys to take that mental image of yourself, whatever that number one negative story you tell about yourself. I'm not good enough, I'm not whatever enough, whatever it is for you. Go ahead and imagine it. It's okay for this moment, and then follow this exercise because this will help you to clear it away.
Yeah, so all you have to do is you need to be able to manipulate the images that you're using. And notice that you're actually making these images automatically. And so when you become aware of it, you can change the images. So take this negative image that you view about yourself and shrink it. Make it super tiny, push it way off in the distance, and take the color out. Let it totally be gone. And then at the same time, make a really bright, bold, huge picture of this awesome you. One of the ways that I like to do it is I like to imagine myself being 40 feet tall. And everybody else is really tiny. Not that I'm over everybody else, but it's just the fact that I'm getting myself in a certain mental state where like I feel like I'm capable. And all that is me picturing something. And it happens almost instantaneous. And for me now, I don't even do that. It just happens. And so I imagine myself growing huge and tall and being, powerful and being able to do all these different kinds of things. And suddenly that's what happens because that's my belief system. I'm giving my mind a mental image and saying, go after this. Use this as a tool to affect my reality. So everything that you're picturing, again, we talk about this almost every video, and it's that your mind doesn't know the difference between what you imagine and what is real. And it's a huge, huge, huge thing to grab onto, to grasp that concept. And so when you start making mental images of a powerful self, and you start to hold yourself, like I was talking about, as the perfect you, and you realize, like, what would the perfect you say to themselves? Would they say, oh man, I'm not going to be able to do this? Or would you be like, wow, look at me. Look at all these people responding to me. Look at how people just shower me with love and they appreciate me and all these kinds of things. And when that switch happens, everything changes. And so these images are very easy to manipulate and to change, but you have to be aware of them. And same way with voices too. The voices that we hear, are they empowering you or are they limiting you? And just change them.
Mm-hmm. Something that I really feel called to share is about judgment, self-judgment, and then judgment of others. I find that, and this is my own personal experience, the more I judged myself, the more I judged other people. And the more I judged other people, I got that in return, because what we give, we receive. So I was giving it to myself, I was giving it to other people, and then I was receiving it back, and it completed the cycle going, yep, you just created all of that. So this is really important to recognize that if you feel like other people are judging you, it's because you're judging you. And the only reason why you feel that way is because it's happening on an internal level first, and then that internal, again, thoughts are creating your reality, beliefs and feelings and vibrations are bringing forth what you are asking for. So if you're judging yourself, you're going to call into existence, into your reality, that exact same energy. So for me, personal example, I'm covered in tattoos, and many years ago I was like, oh, everyone's judging me and blah blah blah, and like my tattoos and I got that exact reflection. People would be like, why'd you do that? Just exactly the same energy. I was talking about myself. The moment I shifted my internal dialogue from who gives a shit, I got these for me, like they represent my story. I chose this from a conscious place. Why would I care what anybody else in this town thinks of? Let's be kind, right? In this closed-minded town, let's forget about that and just do me. And the second I shifted that internal dialogue, I get so many fucking compliments about my tattoos, even from old ladies. It's like the weirdest thing. And I kept going, where were you guys 3 years ago? And they were right in front of me. But the only people I could notice were the ones that were reflecting exactly how I felt about myself.
Yeah, did you see Erica wrote on here, hey princess?
I did. That's why I said I'm a motherfucking princess.
Yeah.
I thought this would be the perfect time to put this crown on, because I thought so many people, you know, might want to do something, might want to wear something, might want to turn their hair a different color, and they're afraid of what other people will think. And I thought, oh man, I am a princess. I'm putting on my crown today to show you guys you can do whatever the hell you want. You can wear a crown, you can walk around in a dinosaur costume. I literally had someone show up at my birthday party in a penguin costume. You can do anything you want. And you know what? She got the most attention because she was authentic. She did what she thought was awesome for her, and people love that. So be your unique, weird-ass self. Do you, because the world loves that kind of shit.
Yes. I love it.
Yes, Hannah says, I needed this today. I'm so glad this resonated with you. I know that confidence is something that women are telling themselves that they need more of, but they just don't realize they already have it within them. They just have to change the story. So what story are you going to let go of today that is limiting your awesomeness, that is limiting the love that you have to share with this world? And what will you then shift it into? Erica says, this world loves that kind of shit. Exactly.
It's so true. Like, you notice that the people that you enjoy the most in life are the ones that are really authentic, because they're not constantly putting on this extra mask and not being able to show themselves. They take the mask off and they say, hey, look, I'm just going to be me. And if you don't like it, that sucks for you.
Peace out.
I'm going to continue being me, and that's exactly what's going to happen. And so it's very freeing for you, and it's very freeing for them. And what happens is when you take self-esteem and you ditch it, what really self-esteem comes from, why this is so important is because a lot of times it comes from the idea of that you might be unlovable. And when you have that fear of being unlovable, self-esteem is always going to be an issue, because it's going to be like, how can I manipulate my personality in such a way that other people will like me? Mm-hmm. And the deal is that if people don't like you for you, just, let them go and find new people, because there's cool people out there. There's people out there who will love and support you for being you. And so don't try and be somebody else. I'm already taken, Britt's already taken. Go be you. And when you do that, it really empowers people around you. Everyone's always looking to help others, to serve others, I'm going to change the world, I'm going to do these things. The way that you do that is by showing up and being you. Yeah. Because you have unique gifts. Mm-hmm. And I don't have the same gifts as other people. They have those gifts, I have my own. And so I share what I've got, just like you can show up and share what you've got. And we all benefit from it. Like, that's the way we really raise this place up, and we change the world everywhere. It happens all in internal level. And the more that you start to make these pictures like we're talking about, the more that you start to manipulate the sounds, and the more that you start to empower yourself to do the things that you know you need to do, you're able to do all this other stuff, and you're able to, you know, rise up and meet the challenges that you have in your life with so much more ease, because you think with these empowering images and you have these empowering thoughts, and all of a sudden you're like, damn, I got this.
So true. I love this topic. Anne says, my struggle was adapting to others and never knowing who I authentically was. After finding my authentic self, the people who didn't match my vibe had left my life. Yes, yeah. You got something?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, go for it.
Yeah, this is. I mean, that's. Here, let me scroll back real quick again. Let me see that. I like this, Anne. Yeah. The big deal is that this happens a lot of times because of how we're raised, and it's not our parents' fault at all. It's definitely a societal thing. And the deal is that when you go to school, a lot of times you're only rewarded for specific behaviors. And if you act out, and I'm sure Britt definitely acted out a lot.
I got in trouble all the time.
She's a fired up girl. And
so for talking. I talk too much.
And so, you know, you take who you could be, you know, that childlike mind where you're full of imagination, you're full of possibilities, and school and stuff like that kind of diminishes it, because they force you to be in a certain place for a certain amount of hours. They tell you what to look at. They tell you what to read. They tell you how to be. And a lot of times we feel like we have to lessen ourselves. In other words, we have to dim our light
to fit into a analytical box we don't fit in. I always say this: you cannot put a star in a square shaped box. And I know that you guys are resonating with that, because you are all stars, you are all light workers. And the way that we've been raised by society, not our parents' fault, it's just been a long program that we have now become aware of the shitty cycle, and it's not working. We now recognize that, and we can go, okay, I see what happened. I was trapped for 15 years of my life and told to stand in line and to be quiet and to not color outside the lines and to blah, blah, blah. Like, that didn't resonate with me. The entire time I was in school, I was like, what is this bullshit? Why are we here? Like, I'm never gonna use these tools in my life. Why don't you teach me how to cook? Or why don't you teach me something, you know? Yes, fired up in school, and I let people know how I felt about it, even at that young of an age. I mean, my first day of kindergarten, I know that my mom loves this story. My first day of kindergarten, she gets out of the car, I get out of the car, she's like, I'm gonna walk you in, and I said, no, I'm going by myself, and she sat there and cried in the car, and I went into kindergarten all by myself, found my teacher, found my room. I've been busting through those limiting beliefs and busting out of the box that society tries to put us in from the beginning. And here we go, I'll help you out, sorry. And now I can see clearly that it wasn't that I wasn't good enough. It wasn't that I was supposed to be different. And I always was like, why am I different? Why am I the weird unicorn in this country ass town? You know? But it is a gift. It is your gift. It is your greatest gift to the world. So if you feel like you've dimmed your light because of the box that we've been told to get in, I want you to get the fuck out of the box, turn your light on to full capacity, and shine your light bright.
And that, you know, that is exactly what will attract the situations and the people in your life that you most desperately need, because those people will be like, man, I've been waiting for you. Where have you been? And you think, I finally was showing up as my authentic self. And people fall absolutely in love with that, because, again, it helps them shine their light. It just reinforces the, hey, it's possible. And so definitely get out there and definitely shine your light.
Anne says, yes, it led me to you guys.
Aww.
Exactly. And I'm glad you picked up that message, because I literally sent like the telepathic message out that like, you are all here for a reason. You have been attracted to this live video for a reason. We are on the same vibrational level, and that means that you are shining your authentic light, and it will attract even more of those people into your life. So know that the people that don't support you will fall away the more you believe and support your own self, your own worth, and the love that you have, because that is all that matters. How you feel about you. Fuck everybody else. Just saying.
Boom.
Booyah. I hope this served you. Know that confidence cannot be bought at Target. It is something you decide. When you decide to love yourself fully, who you are, flaws and all, which I don't even think flaws are a problem. It just is a unique trait to your character. Sure. My mom calls them your idiosyncrasies. Own it, honor it, love it. And if there's something that you don't like about your personality, then change it from within. Notice that quality that maybe, for me, I was bitchy. My nickname was bitchney. Like, that's not good. And I didn't like that quality. I was tired of being mean. I was tired of hiding my light. I was tired of holding my love within, afraid to give it out. And the second I shifted that, and then I decided, what would a kind person do? I started doing that. You can begin to shift those traits that you don't like about yourself this moment right now. You just have to decide and then make it happen continually. Constant repetition will build the habit, which builds the behavior, and then you don't think about it anymore.
Yeah, it totally begins to happen automatically. But you've got to go back and you've got to do those exercises that I talked about earlier, and do them very slowly and spend as much time with them as you can, and do them daily for a while. Imagining your perfect self, shrinking the negative images, making them with black and white, and then popping up the big images of you doing amazing things, make them really bold, very colorful, and all those kinds of things.
So take that bold, colorful, bright image of your best, perfect, awesome, kick-ass self and move forward today confidently from that feeling place, because it's the feeling, the vibes, the emotions on the inside that are creating all of this. So take your bold image, take your bright, shiny self, and move throughout the day with that same feeling, and begin again tomorrow building that image up, brightening the colors of your beautiful, perfect self, and then moving into that and taking it with you throughout the rest of your life.
Boom.
Anne says, woohoo! Great message for a Friday, great high vibe for a great weekend. Yes, yes, yes. So much love, light, and sparkles your way, guys. Have a beautiful weekend. If you have any questions or any thoughts, ideas, concerns, leave them in the comments below. Again, we love hearing from you. We jump on here to answer your questions, so we want to know from you. Have a great weekend. We love you so much. Thank you all for joining us. Woohoo! I just am so pumped up on good vibes. I hope you guys take all this pumped up energy throughout the day and give it to somebody who needs it. Be that person who gives love and light.
Be that person that you needed when you were at your lowest
yes.
spot. Like, be that person for other people. Just go out, and again, you don't do it by being like, oh man, it's okay. You just do it by being you, by showing up and being you. People will get it. You don't have to be like, hey man, you're acting shitty. We need to do something about. Just show up and be you, and they'll go, huh. Maybe I can show up and be me too. And then boom.
Yeah, thanks Anne, thanks Liz, thanks
Thank you,
Hannah,
Erica.
Thanks Erica. Thank you everybody for joining us. Oh, so good. Be the person you needed the most, and you will change the world. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we are here every Friday live for the Elevated Life series at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you know somebody who needs this message, please tag them below or share this to their wall or something, because this message needs to be heard. So many people need to get out of their own way so that they can show up authentically and they can show up vibrantly them, because that is what the world needs.
Yes.
Have a great weekend. I love you, love you, love you all so much. I just can't even contain all this energy. I'm so excited. Know that you have the power and the ability to build this amount of vibrancy in your life, and go out there and do it.
Yeah. Love you guys.